We are a dream team. My name is Chun-Gil Park.
My name is Ja-Hyun.
Our topic is how to make your dream come true. Yeah, that's our tab of contents. So now we start our presentation. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Nowadays, many people tend not to have a dream. Chun-Gil, do you have a dream?
Yes, I do. My dream is to become an international trader.
Oh, really? That's such a nice dream. Then, what have you done to achieve your dream?
I think to achieve my dream, I have to prepare many things. For example, mastering foreign language and understanding foreign cultures and studying on international trade and so on. So now my major is international trade.
Yes, actually, learning foreign language is most important and basic to your dream. Then, have you ever studied any foreign language?
When I was a high school student, I went to China to study Chinese and Chinese cultures.
What? China? But many people usually go to America or Europe to study English for their future. Then, why did you go to China?
Why is China? Actually, many people ask me this question. Because of vision. Of course, English is so important and universal language, but to be different from others, I needed to study another foreign language except for English.
Yes, nowadays many people can speak English well, so we need to study another foreign language.
Yes, at that time, my father said China is a sleeping lion, which means that China will become such a powerful country like America. I came to the conclusion that studying Chinese would be helpful and useful for my future. So I just left Korea for China without hesitation.
Yes, you're absolutely right. China affects many kinds of development of Korea. So Chinese is hard foreign language. Anyway, how was your life in China?
Frankly speaking, for the first time, because of my poor Chinese and different cultures, so I had a really hard time there. And look at this, it's me and their Chinese student. I was so lonely, yes, I was so sad. Please give me a tissue. Thank you.
Yes, that's right. That's okay. Yes, living in another country is so difficult. Then, how did you overcome those difficulties?
I thought that going to China would make my dream come true. So to be successful, I had to change myself to be active and positive. So I tried to make many Chinese friends and speak Chinese a lot and join many activities such as joining sports clubs and eating many kinds of foods. So therefore, I could improve my Chinese skills so much and understand Chinese cultures and of course, make many friends.
Wow, you had a meaningful time there.
Yes, I recommend you to study abroad. Ja-Hyun, anyway, what's your dream?
I want to be a lawyer in the financial field.
Oh, that's a very professional job. Then what have you done for your dream?
Shame to say, I had no goal and hadn't studied it before. Look at this. This is my grade during the first semester.
Oh my god, oh, your score is so... I want to know how you got such a terrible score. Maybe you really didn't study hard. Yeah.
Yes, so because of that grade, I was warned from university. Needless to say, I was really shocked.
Oh, come on, that's okay. Everyone might have a slump. I think at that time, it's important to find any turning point.
Fortunately, I found a turning point. That's a military service. During this period, I met a military judicial officer in military church. He said that I had to study so hard and enter the law school, and he cheered me to become a successful lawyer in the financial field. After finishing military service, I gained the confidence and I studied so hard. Consequently, my grade has been changed. Look at this. This is my grade of last semester. I also got
that's amazing. It's unbelievable. Is this same person's score? I can't believe that. Yeah. How can you get a great score?
No, it's a top secret.
Such a cheap guy. Now I'm so curious. Everyone, are you also curious? Yeah. You see that?
Okay. I think the most important thing is to make a goal.
Oh, what? Goal? What's the
Yes.
meaning?
To approach your dream, you should set a goal, small or big, whatever. The goal gives you passion for knowledge, and in my case, my first goal is to enter the law school. Entering the law school needs high grade, so I need to get some high score.
That's interesting. Yeah. Anything else?
My another goal is acquiring lots of license. Because collecting lots of license is a really important thing in the financial field. So I already got lots of financial license. Aside from these things, I did my internship at Public Prosecution Office.
Yeah, I think now you're a very good student, good boys. Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to follow in the footsteps of you.
Thank you. Before my score wasn't good, but after setting a goal, my life and score are changing. So I want to say, through setting a goal, you can change yourself to be positive.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, from our experience, I realized that if we don't have any goal, then it seems like a ship which is losing the seaway. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to be successful? Yeah. Then remember, the most important thing is to set a goal and to push yourself forward to achieve the goal. Then it must make your dream come true. I keep my fingers crossed for your dream. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Okay, then let's start. As you can see, our topic is how to change our community. And the community will be Korea in this presentation. Actually, Korean policies and system are already well addressed, right? However, in my opinion, Korean mentality is weak. So if we want to change Korea better, we need to change our mind first. Therefore, we will emphasize 3 things that will help us to change our mind. And they will be the contents of this presentation. Liability, liberality, and education. Then first, liability. Liability is responsibility. Having responsibility is very important to change Korea better, because lack of responsibility can cause lots of problems. So, if we want to change Korea better, we need to change our mind first, and I want to show you an example. We all remember the Seoul ferry disaster, right? And it took away hundreds of people's lives, especially high school students' lives. Amongst them were future doctors, teachers, and even leaders. However, we lost them. I think this tragedy caused by lack of responsibility. So, I suggest that we should improve our responsibility. Then how can we do that? We can do that by starting with small things. For example, how about adopt a pet from a shelter and save a life? Or how about plant a tree and promote a life? When we adopt an animal or plant a tree, we should be more responsible and we should do our duties. If we don't do that, we can lose something precious. So I'm sure that we can practice and improve our responsibility by starting with these kinds of small things. So change your mind with small things and make it a habit. It was the first thing of this presentation, and Ji-Yeon will tell us about the second and third things.
Okay, thank you, Yeon. The second thing that we want to talk about is liberality. The state of being generous, accepting without any prejudice. Oh, sorry. Breaking down the prejudice is also important to change our community. Why? Because having a prejudice undermines others' will to do something or challenge themselves. For example, some Koreans are prejudiced against people who didn't graduate university. We usually think that a person who didn't graduate in Seoul University cannot enter a big company like Samsung or Hyundai. Therefore, we think this person cannot succeed in his life either. However, an educational background is not as important as you might think to become successful in your own life. Here is another example. Take a look at Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is known as one of the most successful people in the world. However, he didn't graduate university. He dropped out of school, but he didn't get frustrated. Instead, he constantly challenged and developed various innovative IT technologies. And finally, Steve Jobs became one of the most popular CEOs in Apple company. Okay, this is why we need to change our mentalities. I'm sure that our potentials goes beyond just a university diploma. It has been already proven, so forget about your prejudice and be liberal. The last thing is the Korean educational method. I think the Korean educational system should be changed because it forces students to be always correct and also prevents them to think creatively. For example, we are always told to do what the teacher says without questioning him or her, even from the elementary school. In my case, when I studied a math, I wanted to figure out how to solve the questions myself. However, I was told to memorize 1 + 1 = 2, but I was never told why. I was told to use and memorize so many mathematical formulas without being told why some formulas work for some problems but not on others. And also, we were not allowed to ask such questions because it would seem as if we are questioning the teacher. This is why I still feel afraid of asking questions, because I'm afraid of being wrong or even being ridiculed. However, what I think is that there is no exact one correct answer. Therefore, students have to figure out themselves and find their own ways to solve the questions. If teachers let students think themselves, I'm sure that Koreans will think more creatively and also learn to think outside the box, which will help to make our community more accepting.
Okay then, now I will make the conclusion of this presentation. Now you do know how to change Korea better, right? Yeah. Okay, all you need to do is just remember 3 things: liability, liberality, and education. Liability, you should start with small things and make it a habit. And liberality, please keep in mind Steve Jobs' story. And education, teachers should let students think creatively.
Remember that we are all students, so we have to think about what we can do. It is difficult for us to change something like facilities, transport, or rules directly. However, we can change our mentalities. If we want to change something, we should be the change that we want to see in our community.
Liability, liberality, and education. There are part of challenge. Can you see that the first letter of each word is L-L-E? Do you want to change our society? Do you want to change Korea better? Then with the L-L-E challenge, the small challenge can make big change. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Seung-Hwan. And he's my dear partner, Jin-Woong.
Hi, my name is Ji-Yeon. I'm really happy to be here today. So, we prepared the presentation really hard for the past 4 weeks. So, if you pay attention to our presentation today, it will be much more meaningful and interesting. So, could you help us?
Please. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Yes, so, we are here to make a presentation on the topic, how to change the world. It sounds like a really serious and heavy topic, doesn't it?
Yes.
But actually, you don't need to be worried about that, because in front of you, there is a small passion first. Gandhi, Leonardo da Vinci, Winston Churchill, Mark Twain, and finally, Beethoven. Do you know what the people have in common actually? Do you have any idea, Jin-Woong?
Well, I have the foodies idea about that.
Jin-Woong, I'm disappointing you. I'm kidding you, calm down, sorry about that.
It's always.
Yeah, always sorry about that. Okay, is anybody here who knows the answer?
Well, I don't think so. It's quite difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because I have the obvious answer. I want to say about that. They all were left-handers. Interesting. Today's topic is how to change the world. But actually, I'm talking about left-handers. The reason I'm talking about left-hander right now is actually totally relevant to the topic and also title of the presentation. And the top title is Embrace Left-handers, and finally, we can make a better world.
Right. Today's topic is mainly about left-handers, particularly the left-handers in our society. Some people might ask us what the meaning of left-handers is. The meaning is people who mainly use the left hands rather than right hands, and interestingly, according to social researches, there have been a lot of discrimination against left-handers all over the world. In our presentation, left-handers mean minorities. Even though there is less discrimination against minorities, of course, compared with the past, today's world still faces many questions. So, the point I'm trying to emphasize on is, we have to embrace minorities as much as we can. And I'm sure that eventually, we can make the world better. So from now on, we are going to show you 3 minorities.
The first minority I want to say is the women in our society. For the past several decades, even though the rights of women have been quite improved, actually I have to say with the facts, it's totally not enough. Throughout the world, in some cases, the discrimination against women are getting worse and worse. It's far too much disastrous and also serious. The United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said, if the women in our society have much more chances than right now to do something really special and important, lots of problems worldwide will be sorted out naturally and continuously. So that's why we are really looking forward to seeing that. So what we really have to do right now, urgently and immediately, is admit the full potential of women, and also we do really better, respect them much more for the better world.
Second, there are people who are just a bit different from us mentally and physically. And there's a story that I really want to tell. A half-century ago, there was a student whose personality was quite nice and the grade in school was not bad. However, unfortunately, he had a fatal disease for the war. The doctor's words were he was going to die within 2 years, making him fall into despair. However, after he met his wife, Jane, he overcame hopelessness and redesigned his future. Luckily, surprisingly, the state of his disease was getting better thanks to her efforts, and now he's over 70 years old. Seung-Hwan, do you know what I'm talking about?
It's an interesting and fascinating story, but actually, I don't know the answer. Sorry about that.
It's quite difficult. His name is Dr. Hawkins.
Are you serious right now? Jun-Gil, one of the most famous scientists around the world.
Definitely, furthermore, he unlocked the mysterious of the universe as well.
Yeah, I already know about that. I sincerely admire him, but I've never heard this story. Thank you very much for a great story. I'm touched. Very good.
So what I want to say is there's a lot of disabled people in the world like him, and they are waiting for the chances to spread their wings.
I want to say the last minority in our presentation. The world consists of a wide range of different and diverse people. There are people who are tall or short, black or white, introverted or extroverted, and so on. I want to ask you a question. What is the definition of love? There's no one who can define love, because love just depends on the person. And also, it's not just between different sexes. Of course, there are some people who love same sex or the other as well. We have to respect each other, because we all have our own human rights, including falling in love with someone. In this case, it doesn't really matter the person is same sex or not. We might as well admit the difference between us. Actually, the most important point is that the difference doesn't mean it's right or wrong. So, it's absolutely time to change our narrow points of view. It's not just necessary, but actually totally essential.
So, what do you think about her glasses? Does it look cool? Cool? Okay, just wait for a second. What do you think about my glasses?
Kinda cool.
Cool? Really?
Ronnie?
Ronnie?
Oh, dancing time?
Toto?
Photo time.
Toto time?
Mate, come down,
I'm
right?
sorry. However, actually, from now I want to be really serious, because in my eyes, it's not really pretty, because she reflects back to us who we are and what we've done. Now, we are looking at the world with dark glasses. From now, the screen is the world that we are looking through. The world is dark and dreary and desolate. It's complete because of our biased dark glasses. So I want to say, it's absolutely time to break our dark glasses.
And right now, it's absolutely make a better world. Many people said it's impossible. But with my sincere mind and plenty of confidence, I have to say, it's absolutely possible to change the world right now. Mind you, one thing really important. All over the world, there is only just one person who is really special, important, and can make the better world. Interestingly, the only one person is actually
You
and you
all.
We can change the world much better than right now, with one another, sometimes separately, but continuously. If you've been dreaming the better world for a long time, if you are dreaming of changing the world right now, eagerly, just I want to say one thing. It's time to start. Thank you.